welcome to Techquila, the podcast where we talk about the latest news in the tech industry while taking shots of a tequila every 10 minutes. I'm your host, Bert Gerchek, and with me as always are...
Daniel, Eric,
and,
together.
Yay, together forever. So we're excited to announce that Eric is now officially a full-time permanent co-host of the podcast. And so he will be joining us on every subsequent cast of Techquila. So welcome aboard,
guys. Thank you, Burke. I'm flattered. It's been fun every time.
All right.
Let's kick ass.
We've got enough out of you. Thanks.
All right, I'll go back to my
you can leave now. All right. Today we're going to be talking about 2016, reviewing what's happened so far, and we've each come up with our own independent lists of the best, the worst, and the meh of 2016. We'll see where they line up. I made the mistake of posting mine for them to see before I realized it was supposed to be private.
That's fine. It'll work out. I didn't even look. Let's take the shot.
Oh, shit. You
ready? You ready? Right. I'm ready.
Yeah, make sure that timer's nice and loud for the next one.
Oh, yeah. It'll be right here under the microphone.
All right. 3, 2.
We have limes.
Good for you, bitch.
God damn, that's a good experience.
That's sad whiskey.
That's why you gotta not get the Reposado. You gotta get the Blanco. Okay, so as Burke mentioned, I just want to mention that Eric and I are together. For those of you that are listening and not watching, Eric and I are in the same apartment. Woo!
Yeah!
High fives. High five.
Coming to you live from New York City.
That's right. We in Harlem, son.
Home of income inequality at San Francisco. But it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, I'm in Clear Lake, home of the upper middle class white people of America. Damn,
oil
fucked
money.
that up.
You forgot oil money.
Oh yeah,
Oil
I mean
money.
everybody here is either oil or NASA.
Right.
So great to have Dan in the same room with me. I think we're gonna have some fun sitting next to each other.
Got that synergy,
That's
son.
right. We're synergized.
So yeah, as Burke mentioned, we're doing a 2016 year in review. So Burke, let's start with you. What is your best from 2016 tech?
Well, hold up. I was unprepared and I didn't have the Google Pages, right?
I can start right now.
Yeah, please.
So my best.
As he pulls out a notebook. I am prepared.
I wrote I wrote like bullet points, nothing crazy. Okay, so I wanted to award my personal like best of 2016 to the Pokemon Company because I think they fucking knocked it out of the park this year. So you got this new Nintendo 3DS that they dropped in the beginning of the year. That is, it was like a commemorative for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon coming out. And it was the only new Nintendo 3DS that wasn't the large size that you can get in the US that also wasn't fucking Animal Crossing themed, and people love that shit. And then, you had the announcement of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and people were freaking out about that. And then you had fucking Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Go dominated tech for like a good month.
Never heard of it. What is it?
What is Pokemon Go?
Yeah, you know what? If you don't know, then why are you listening to this podcast?
Yeah, why are you here? No, so Pokemon Go dominated, and I just want to say one thing that Eric and I were talking about earlier in the week, and a lot of tech pundits are like, "Oh, Pokemon Go is like the poor man's entry into AR," and anyone who's played Pokemon Go knows that you turn off the AR function in Pokemon Go after like the second day. Like you don't keep that shit on.
And by AR you mean augmented reality.
Yes, where it like overlays the Pokemon on top of like the subway seat next to you. Ha ha ha.
Or the toilet.
Yeah, people put Pikachu on the
Hey, I should have Pikachu.
Yeah, and then so closing in my vote for Pokemon Company being best is that Pokemon Sun and Moon came out and sold more in 2 weeks than any Nintendo game ever.
Really?
It was a huge success in terms of sales. So I think the fucking Pokemon Company killed it this year for their 20th anniversary.
Nice. Well, I'm inclined to agree on most of that. I think Pokemon Go is kind of garbage, but
I mean, I don't play it anymore, and I agree. But like in terms of a success, it's a success.
yeah, no, I mean Nintendo knocked it out of the park, and that IP is just hot as shit right now. I remember when Pokemon Go came out, I just had like a nostalgia craving to play some of the original like Blue, Red, Yellow, and I went into a used game store. It was like $40 for just like a ratty ass copy of Pokemon Yellow that they had hacked together and replaced the battery on.
Yeah, because of Pokemon Go, all the Pokemon franchise just surged in price.
Yeah, and which is hilarious because Pokemon Go failed within like a month, and like playership was down by 90% or something stupid like that. Because
here's what happened: it launched during the summer, then it became winter. So that's pretty much what happened.
But I mean, here in Texas, for example, we don't have winter. We have hot, less hot, and not quite hot, but almost. And even here, people didn't play it after the first month.
But it also became, all right, let's not make this a Pokemon Go thing, but it also became like so very hard for like people who have to drive to Pokestops. I'm talking from the Pokemon Go capital of the world, New York City, Pokestops everywhere out the ass. You know, like it's a privileged position. I feel so fortunate to live here. But like I hear stories of like, oh yeah, I have to like drive to like, 10 minutes to my nearest Pokestop and like on the hopes that a Cubone will fart in my general direction or like whatever. I don't know. Like, just an example, but like that's just like too hard. That's too hard to sustain a game that way. But Dan, who's your loser? Or are we go?
Wait. Why don't we all go around and do the best?
Yeah,
first?
Let's go
Okay.
best. So
I could go. I could go next, but maybe I'll cheat a little bit because my best was going to be Nintendo, but that's also a little bit too close. To Pokemon Company.
I feel like it is.
So I'll say another one. Don't even bother me none. I think this was a fantastic year for esports in general. I think it really grew as I don't even know what you want to call it, like an entertainment medium, a legitimate alternative to traditional sports. If I had looked up more metrics, I'm sure I would have some numbers in front of me that are saying people are watching it more than ever. I know Twitch is getting like really good viewership. For all sorts of games. You got your major games like Counter-Strike, which you're showing on TBS now, for God's sake.
What?
Along with Conan O'Brien.
It's getting crazy.
That's nuts.
Along with Conan O'Brien, we got CSGO on a major cable network, which is wild.
That's crazy. I didn't know.
Actually, anecdotally, it was really interesting. I drove for Uber briefly in March of this year, and for those of you who aren't familiar with esports, I think it was DreamHack that was going on in Austin. And
DreamHack's huge.
Fucking 80% of the people that I drove for that entire weekend were attending the con in some way, shape, or form. And I was honestly tempted after realizing what a big deal it was to buy a ticket and maybe get some dank con exclusive Counter-Strike Go skins.
Yeah, man. No, but I think, and just to qualify by esports, I mean like electronic sports, so watching people play video games, basically, which is like, like a very reductive way to say it, because like, depending on the game, it can be an incredibly technical feat.
Yeah.
These are athletes in their own way. Like, like physical athletes, no, but like to split your concentration.
I think athlete might not be the right word. Competitor might be, because athlete implies physical prowess.
Yeah.
Like you don't call the grandmaster, a chess grandmaster, an athlete,
Right. And I think it's all still so young that like people are calling them athletes like me, and we don't know a better name for them. So
because it's kind of its own animal, it's akin to chess, but on a level that's well beyond any other competitive game.
But like by esports, I mean watching people play video games, essentially, and I think it really gained some legitimacy this year. I got a lot of write-ups in the major news outlets. My dad, shouts, Dad.
His dad,
William Shulkin.
For the record, how old is your dad?
My dad's about to turn 78. So he has read about computers in the paper, hasn't touched one. Still finding his way. He knows a lot. He really does know a lot, but he doesn't know how they work in a functional sense. And he's like, I'm hearing about this esports. They're just renting out stadiums to watch kids play games. Is this true? People paying money for this? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, man.
It's happening.
It's a thing.
And just the last point I want to put on this is that for this year, for the first time, a major we call it generally the Big Four in America: football, basketball, hockey, baseball. A Big Four franchise, the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team, acquired an esports team called Dignitas and Apex.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, thanks for closing the article on it, Dan. I was actually going to read it and look a little more carefully at it, but now I'm just flying in the dark. It's fine. A little inside baseball for everybody. I had to read it a little more carefully. I should be better prepared.
I'm here to sabotage.
Yeah.
That's my purpose.
Dan's just effing my shit up. But they bought a majority stake in these esports teams and merged them together. So now we're talking about a deal in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So
are we talking? Did this happen very recently, or was this like in the middle of the year?
Like 2 months ago.
Oh,
like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
and
this would be like a good nominee for like what's going to be big next year, dude.
I think so. I think so. I'm realizing I made a mistake. Not making one of my predictions. But
why not both?
Why not both? Why not both? Rick Fox, the former basketball player, owns an esports team. Shaquille O'Neal owns an esports team.
That's
I rest my
crazy.
case. I rest my case.
That's nuts. I mean, like, Burke and I watch a lot of. I mean, I don't know if Burke. I assume you watch it, but I've watched a decent amount of competitive Rocket League.
I bet that's fun.
On and off.
I bet it's fun to have streamers explain, casters explain like what's going on, right? Like,
I mean, there's not much explanation.
There's
just
not
like,
explanation.
It's like Rocket League doesn't have commentators. It's like, suck my dick, look at this dank ass goal.
Ooh,
I mean, it's
great dank ass goal by Rogers.
Watching competitive esports, because like whenever shit from the CS:GO subreddit pops up, it's exactly like the NFL subreddit in that it's like fucking moon speak to me. Like I just don't understand what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, I gotta pour the shot. Eric already poured his.
There's a lot of terminology, definitely.
And it's like you have to be familiar with both the scene and the like details and intricacies of the maps they play.
Absolutely.
Some scenes are just like, I was hearing it from my friend yesterday. We'll take this shot. Sorry.
Okay,
let's go ahead.
3, 2, 1, boom.
Ugh.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Okay, Burke, do you have lined up what you wanna?
Yeah. So for me, I had two major successes that I really was happy about. One was commercial VR, because
Yes.
prior to 2016, I think there wasn't really a huge amount of support for it. There wasn't a huge amount of interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
There were just a meager handful of games that almost had VR integration as an aside, and even then it wasn't properly functional. And then with the Vive, shit just blew up. I mean, the scale and the intricacy and the immersiveness of the stuff that's out now is leaps and bounds beyond what anyone thought it would be in 2016, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I have a Vive, and which is why I'm talking about this to begin with, but the Vive has just been such a surreal experience for me because it's not something I ever thought I would be doing in the near future. If you had asked me in 2014 whether I would own like a VR setup where I could walk around, interact with shit, and experience stuff completely virtually, I would have said, no, fuck you. That's probably like 2022 at the earliest.
And I feel like the Vive takes it to another level where like a lot of people don't know that VR existed in like the 80s. And
yeah, it's old shit. It's just not very...
I mean, and it was also like prohibitively expensive back then for like anyone who wasn't a fucking like millionaire. But also with the Vive, I mean, what you're talking about right now that makes the Vive stand out amongst the few other VR platforms, at least like the Vive and the Oculus, where you can like move around in the space. I feel like from what I understand, the VR back then didn't have that. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, that is like, I think that's the biggest innovation to date with VR is the ability to have it on a room scale. Before, I mean, even head tracking was a bit much, like being able to naturally and fluidly like look around in a virtual space. Having the quick enough feedback from the sensors on the headset to the machine coupled with fast rendering to keep up with your input. It wasn't super feasible.
And Was it not even there in like 2015? You think we caught up at the end of 2015, early 2016? Like, is that
I
what
mean,
happened?
you know, the Oculus dev kit had been around for quite some time, and there were a few
Right.
titles that supported it, but it wasn't the scale it is now. I mean, if you
Yeah.
go on Steam and look at the VR section, it's like 100 titles. And if you had checked, you know, a year and a half ago, maybe 10, maybe. And yeah, it's just the room scale, I think, is what tipped the scales for me towards labeling this as a major success.
I can definitely back you up on that with having played with the Oculus at work. Shout out Trading Advantage. Larry Levin, you are the man. Our owner will like just bring us in, or the president, I should say, of the company. He'll bring us in like shit to play with on the Oculus, and it's fucking crazy. Like we just got the new controllers that came out for the Oculus, and they are fucking awesome. They're so cool. They can detect when your hands are open or closed, or like either like you're pointing or lifting a thumb, or like you're like somewhat clasped or like fist. And man, I played with this 3D sculpting software called Medium on the Oculus, and you can export whatever you sculpt and spray paint within this really cool software to a 3D printer, which is fucking crazy.
It's a success just for the very fact we have a legitimate first generation now, right? You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, definitely.
toes in the water, metaphorically.
No, and I, you know, even within the last year, the iterative improvements on it have been pretty impressive. You know, I think for the Vive, the killer app for the launch of the Vive was Hover Junkers, which was this crazy, you know, online multiplayer gunboat simulator. And since then, I think there are probably another like 10 genuinely like rich, interesting content VR games out there. And what I was really excited about was that it spurred even more development in the like phone-based VR arena, which comes to my second point on successes, which is Google's release of its first complete phone, top to bottom Google. You know, we talked about it on prior podcasts, so I'll try and keep it short. But the Pixel is just the diggity dank, and it's one of the few phones I think that can compete with an iPhone 7. And it ties into the VR aspect nicely because it came for me with a Daydream VR. And just the quality of that VR was staggering given what it is. And it also incorporated some motion controls. And it's just one more facet of this big march forward in VR technology that I think will, in 5 years, place us somewhere incredible.
That's a really huge point. I feel like also so like when you take the Oculus and the Vive, right, you get the top end stuff, and then you take, you know, Cardboard, but now what Google's doing with Pixel and the Gear VR, I feel like eventually they're going to converge at a particular point. And when those two...
Yeah, I could definitely see that. At the moment, you know, there are some technical issues plaguing VR. A lot of it has to do with the subpixel grid, which is when you play the games on VR, it comes up as a screen door effect, like you're looking through a mesh screen door. What? Someone said something.
What? Say what? I was just gonna say people are gonna want to escape from this reality.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was talking about this with Austin, and he was saying the exact same thing. Like, if I had to become an invalid to like just die and go to VR heaven, then I probably would.
Sounds like a nice place.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
No ads, hopefully, but
you know, Facebook owns Oculus, so that's unlikely / impossible.
So, not that it is my bad, but speaking of Facebook, do we want to get to our bad now? We did our goods. Do we want to do our bads?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Facebook is not my bad, although it very well could be.
Burke, you start with your bad. What's your bad?
All right, sure. Look, I only want to suspend tops 2 minutes on this because we're whores for this subject. It's the fucking headphone jack and the MacBook Pro outlets and power.
I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were going to put this
because I posted it, dipshit. I posted on the Spaces like a month ago.
Even like without you posting, I knew you would put, because you're such the iPhone hater.
I don't hate iPhones, man. They've got gorgeous cameras and their hardware is solid. It's just Apple has made some design choices that I'm really angry about. And yeah, I think it's just silly that they didn't include a headphone jack. It seems like such a basic a basic concession of practicality, and they replaced it with like an altimeter or some shit. Like, why? And okay, so moving on, I think a classic fail for this year was the Galaxy Note 7 / the bomb phone.
Yep. I think we all put that as our worst. I think that
We did.
I think the iPhone 7 is like here, and then the Note 7 is like up there. So the Note 7, the Note 7 is
That's the worst of the decade, man. It's a phone that explodes in your pocket.
Yeah. So I have a few notes here that I just want to hit. So the Note 7 was supposed to be kind of an iPhone killer in terms of like awesome, beautifully designed phone, sweet ass features. It was supposed to be amazing. You know, all the tech pundits were just raving about it.
It was a very well reviewed film.
And yeah, it was fucking incredible. And before it started blowing up, it was. And then,
literally blowing up, not on the social media.
well, it was more of a. I wrote. Make sure to highlight this. Blowing up is a little hyperbolic. It's more of a snap, crackle, fizzle, maybe flame.
Right.
Snap, crackle, pop, flame.
I love this.
Nonetheless, I mean, I think it's very impressive that people with Galaxy Note 7s engendered the same suspicion on planes that Arabs do this year. That's a tough feat to accomplish.
We went there.
Oh my God! Imagine if you're
Middle Eastern,
speaking Arabic on a Note 7 on an airplane.
Not even Arabic, like you speak in gibberish and then occasionally slip in the English word.
It's like everyone is afraid of you.
It's not
bomba 3, 2, 1 boom. God, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. This is turning into like a fucking Jeff Foxworthy or
there you go.
Bill, who's the guy with the puppets?
Bill Engvall. Blue Collar Comedy Tour?
No. The guy with
Larry
the puppets.
Cable Guy.
The puppets.
Oh,
Team America?
No.
The ventriloquist
Yeah.
comedian.
Oh.
I forget his name. Whatever.
Oh, shoot.
Dunham. He's something Dunham.
Yeah,
Jeff Dunham?
Yeah. I'm turning into his racist ass.
An unimportant fad in comedy. Anyway,
Yeah.
Funny,
I don't like him.
Hey,
okay, so
watch your mouth.
So, Note 7 probably the biggest fucking failure of all year, and Samsung is gonna have to come back hard from that one.
And I mean, it was timed perfectly for Google, who just put out one of the best phones. Like, I've never had as many people interested in a phone as I have since I got the 7 or the Pixel. Like, it's just. I already had it ready.
Woo! Oh shit! I need to pour. Let me pour. And let me say this: I feel like just to play devil's advocate with you on the iPhone, I feel like this Samsung blowing up is a gift not only to the Pixel but the iPhone, who was a lackluster design. It was a lackluster design, but it's still a really good phone. And so like people are gonna be like, "Fuck Samsung! I guess I'll go back to the iPhone."
Samsung just gave everybody a pass.
Right. I mean, it's you're just conceding market share, and but I think what I was saying about the Pixel is that what's garnered the most interest for me is the camera. My girlfriend, her sister, they're not techies. They just want something easy to use. But every time I take photos with that phone, both of them are like, Jesus Christ, that camera is gorgeous, and it works amazing in low light. And I think Google just knocked it out of the park with that one. All right, shot. Eric, you count down.
Are you ready? Oh, okay. Well, I just couldn't see
I have my little drowning German girl. Barely keeping her head above water.
He has a really weird shot glass with a German girl in a lederhosen type skirt. And anyway,
my mom travels out and gets novelty shot glasses.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, tequila.
Whee! Okay. So I had a bit of a twofer for my worst. Number one in the worst was definitely the Samsung Note 7.
Mm-hmm.
That said, my other worst was so before this year started, when I was listening to other podcasts, when they talked about what's going to be big in 2016, fucking everybody was like, "Yo, smartwatches are going to blow up." Guess what? No, they fucking didn't. They did not blow up.
Because they're a novelty. What functionality do they add to your life that you didn't have before,
Yeah. So this was the year that like Android Wear and Apple Watches were supposed to like fucking take over. That didn't happen.
No.
So, and I think like the fact that, you know, about a month ago, I guess it was, that Pebble got sold to Fitbit kind of epitomizes what's happening in this space. What's happening in this space is that nobody wants to pay a shit ton just to text from their wrist. But the caveat to this whole failure of the smartwatch is the success of Fitbit, and not raving success, but just like the mild success that is Fitbit.
Yeah, because you know, there's a
want
niche in the accidental shotgun spread of smartwatches. There was an actual niche that they discovered, which was a way of tracking fitness in a really, really compact and easy way. Not only fitness, but sleep too, which I thought was really interesting.
Yes, the Fitbit is really good at that as well. Sadie, my girlfriend, loves that shit. But yeah, so like just like an overall like the quantified self.
Sleep scientist.
Right. Yeah, she studied sleep at Northwestern, so of course she would. But yeah, the overall like quantified self draw to wearables is what's drawing people to them in relatively low numbers. You know, in a dull fashion, as opposed to the masses of people that tech pundits assumed were going to be.
Am I distracting you? Am I distracting you, Daniel?
Rolling his own cigarettes and it's distracting his balls. Yeah. Okay. Point being, that was I don't know. I don't know if it's not nearly as bad as the Note 7, but you know, it was one of those.
It's just like, surprising to see, you know, what. I mean, you know, even when smartwatches came out, back when I owned the Moto 360, which you later came to own, I was very unimpressed by it. You know, it's just limited by where it sits on your body and how much you can do with a display that tiny.
It's not a paradigm that can replace much that you do with your smartphone.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is going to replace their smartphone with a wrist-based wearable.
Okay, Eric, let's have you tell us.
Okay, so I have a second worst for sure. Samsung, I think we all picked the Note 7 to start with.
Yeah, absolutely.
We covered that pretty thoroughly. Oh, can I just add though? I checked yesterday, and to date, Samsung has still not explained.
Oh yeah, they still don't know what they still haven't publicly been like, "Yay, we're sorry. This is what happened with the battery."
Yeah.
So it's all
speculation. I think all that means is that the issue with the battery was something that was undeniably on corporate. Like, it was probably them pushing a deadline or essentially hand-waving away a major engineering concern from the people who designed the phone.
And that is what a lot of people have arrived on in terms of just like educated speculation, is that it was probably a design flaw that pushed the battery to its physical limits.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was too ambitious of a design.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're trying to compete in the feature wars, you can't. I mean, I think in every phone to date, it's always been the battery that's the limiting component, because battery tech just isn't there yet to power these devices that are trying to do everything. Everything else is there, you know. The miniaturization of major components is the battery isn't.
So what's your other worst, Eric?
My other worst is what I believe I talked about for the first time when I came on here with you guys. It's No Man's Sky.
Oh shit!
I actually have that on my list as a meh, not a worst.
I'm gonna mark it down as an overall loser for the year. A little context: No Man's Sky was a heavily hyped
That's
video
an
game.
Understatement. Yeah.
We're talking about, like, you know, video game publications creaming themselves, like 2 years worth of like gaming conventions, like breaking down trailers. You know how the internet is now, guys. Like YouTube, you know, like people like do these trailer breakdowns and like try and like glean meaning from like 2 minutes of like what a game could be. This was a game like made by an indie development studio called Hello Games. It was a labor of love over 5 years, I want to say, 5-6 years. A real like plucky underdog story.
Plucky.
Definitely plucky. How's that SAT word for everybody?
Good word.
So it comes out, and it is not what was promised, to put it as politely as I can put it.
He's seething. For those of you that can't see him because you're not right next to him, he's internally seething.
Yeah, and you know what? And earlier today, I was seething about something else.
Oh yeah, he was.
Just a home improvement project. I'm over it now. But these feelings, he said, I'm not over it, says Dan. He's probably right. It's just
honestly, in my opinion, No Man's Sky was just meh. I mean, if you'd taken it out of the context of the hype, it was actually an all right game. You know, it wasn't anything spectacular. If it showed up on Steam early access, I'd be like, it's worth $5. But it wasn't. In the context of the hype, it was a massive, oh God, what are you guys doing?
Here's what I've been saying on here with you guys, and you're absolutely correct in saying that. The expectations were so high from it. What we got was like a $20 to $30 game when what was marketed was a $60 game. Yeah. And that really pisses people off.
Being optimistic. Like,
I am an optimist by nature. so that's what I said. And to just give the whole timeline for it. So yeah, it came out and it was like it was kind of just a dime a dozen exploration game that we've got so many of on Steam. Like, we got all these early access exploration games. Like, I don't know, Firewatch was actually a success, so that's not a good example.
Well, actually,
Don't Starve or whatever. Yeah.
On the vein of No Man's Sky, there was a game that came out on Steam with little to no fanfare that completely eclipsed it called Astroneer. I haven't played it, but I've heard it's amazing, and it falls in the same vein. Explore worlds, see things, multiplayer.
Yeah. So, everybody was pissed. Like, if you want to talk numbers, it topped the PlayStation 4 charts for downloads in August when it launched. Didn't make the top 50 every month afterwards.
I mean, that is a failure. That is a massive failure.
Not good.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. Like, once, you have the launch hype, and then everybody discovers after 8 hours that it's a very shallow game. Word spreads. That's what happens.
Is that a failure of the developers, or is that a failure of the media hype machine?
No, man. It's one and the same because
the developers went along with it, though.
Yeah, they were complicit. Like, it's special. They hyped it up so much, and they promised stuff that wasn't even in the game. Like, I mean, when you do that, people are inevitably going to latch on and say, "Oh my God, this looks really promising."
And kind of the funny thing is where games are right now, games are being released as incomplete or
like work in
totally
project.
Buggy. Yeah. There's the term now where you get the day one patch, which is where after you download the game, you buy it retail, you get it. You then download the day one patch, which has all these bug fixes and adds features and stuff. And it's just a kind of a very troublesome trend.
Pasco. What? Did the stream just die? Oh no.
3 months there was zero, total radio silence from the developers, as I think I have mentioned in past podcasts.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, the stream went
froze
for
up
a few minutes.
Yeah, you froze up for a few seconds there. We were to get zero word from the developers, Hello Games, for months. People had so many questions about this game, what fixes were going to come, what features were going to get added in future patches, and it did eventually come. As I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, I said they added a survival mode or what have you.
Right, it was in a recent podcast.
It was a good update. But it came months later, and you just have to be in communication with your fans if they paid $60 for a $20 game. So that's why No Man's Sky was a loser this year for me.
There you go.
Let's get to meh.
You want to start with meh?
I would love to start with meh.
Let's have Eric start with meh of 2016.
This year,
biggest meh.
The biggest meh. Everyone's going to roll their eyes when I say this. The biggest meh was the truth.
Oh. Truthiness.
The truth.
What?
I'll explain.
On that note, I'll
that
explain.
is the most pseudo-philosophical angsty teen shit I've ever heard. What I didn't like this year was the truth. Oh.
I'll explain after the shot.
Okay. Burke, you count, please.
1, 2, 3, tequila!
Thank you. Oh, that was a shitty lime wedge.
They've all not been great.
I'm going
big.
hardcore
Okay,
white boy here
explain,
and
Mr.
chasing it with
Truth.
Red Bull.
Listen, I made that incendiary statement. The truth is dead. The truth is met. The truth is met. People don't care about the truth anymore. Truth's not dead. Truth's not dead.
The truth is on life support,
The
and
truth is on life support. But like,
it's about to die.
we've talked about fake news on here
Yes.
ad nauseum.
Fake
Us,
book. Fake book,
Fake book.
if you will.
Check out that podcast episode. SoundCloud.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right. I'll get to my app of the year later.
There you go.
It's in line with that. But we talked about fake news on Facebook.
Oh my
We
God.
talked about the squeaky toys.
We talked about Costco.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I thought I took away all his toys and put them behind me. You can see if you lift up. You see that thing behind the couch? That's one of his armadillo
Yes, that's
squeaky
a toy.
toys.
And I suppose the greater point I'm trying to make here, Bosco.
Okay, look, I'm not paying attention to him, but I'm gonna stealthily try and grab it out of his mouth, but he's staring at my hand. Oh no.
This is
it's not working.
Burke's dog, a Samoyed. He's very cute.
Ah, gotcha, bitches.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But look at this fucking dog. So cute and so dumb. Pasco.
Such a doge.
Look at that.
Well, he's not
furry
quite a Shiba.
asshole.
but-
Not a Shiba at all.
No, not even close.
A Samoyed.
So truthiness.
Truth.
You're getting at
Truth is
truthiness.
meh. And what I'm trying to say, my greater point is that, like, when we are on our social media platforms, our Twitters, our Facebooks, what have you, generally how we want to consume our media, our viewpoints, is to get confirmation.
It's fast food.
And it's fast food, and we
It's
want
fast food for your brain.
we want our echo chambers.
Yeah.
We do not want different viewpoints. So
Yeah.
we want to see the news shared to us with a viewpoint that is in line with our own, and biologically, that's what we are drawn towards.
This
as
is
humans,
digital McDonald's.
digital McDonald's.
That's what it is.
I kind of like that.
In
Sure.
terms of like information consumption.
And so I say the truth is meh, because even when confronted, even when shown the truth, like what is objectively the true story, I feel like by and large, us as internet users this year decided to, just kind of ignore that and just go with what validates our own viewpoint.
Okay,
So that's what I meant by the truth is meh.
At first I thought you were drunk, and then I realized you had a valid point.
No, I really I
knew
thought
where
of
you were going with this, but damn if that wasn't a clickbait title.
I thought of this when I was sober, and I thought, here's something provocative. Now, how am I going to explain it? And I think I did.
There you go.
What do you guys
Right.
think about that? What do you guys think
Well,
about
I
that?
mean, it's accurate. I think it's completely accurate. Breitbart and HuffPo both basically are incarnations
Mirror
of that
images.
tendency.
I mean,
Except not. Like if they're mirror images,
HuffPo doesn't post like why women shouldn't go into science and only men should.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. Think about this from a centrist point of view, which admittedly no one in the room
Wait.
is.
If I have to defend what I just said from a centrist point of view, then centrism is broken in America.
No, I'm just all right. Whatever. I'm. That's true, but
let's keep this technologically
Okay, I'm just saying.
inclined, fellas.
Anyway,
Okay.
Burke, what's your meh of
my meh.
2016?
All right. So No Man's Sky was on there as mentioned. At Lindsay's request, I put Lindsay's ass, which is meh. Personally, I don't think
Girlfriend's
so.
ass is meh.
That was your damn savage.
She put that there. That wasn't even me, man.
That's some savage self-esteem, dude. That's,
Yeah.
God damn.
That
All
was
right,
tough
so
to hear.
I'll start with the niche one that no one knows about.
Lindsay, you
and
need to
move on
start
the-
with loving yourself. You need to look in the mirror and say, "I love you."
You gotta look in the mirror and say, "Damn, that ass, though."
There you go. That's how you reinforce the ass image.
Yeah, right. I mean, I try that, but she doesn't listen to me. Anyway,
that's
so
be
the
so fun.
Lix 3D printing pen. I bought this for Lindsay's sister Kelly for her birthday, for Christmas.
Right.
And it was just the biggest, most gigantic piece of shit ever.
Really?
Um,
Why?
So for people who aren't familiar, a 3D printing pen is essentially what would happen if you tore out the melted plastic extruder from a 3D printer, got rid of the robotic component, and just let someone play with it, which in theory is cool. But in reality, the thing just broke down within 2 hours of using it.
How did it
Like
break?
the feeder, so it has an extruder at one end, and then you feed in a tube of either PLA or PVC through the end,
Okay.
the other end, and the feeding mechanism jammed. And the buying this thing was just this huge shitty saga where I actually changed my mind right after ordering and sent their customer support a notice saying, "Look, just cancel the order I just made." Only response I got was, "Is there anything we could do to convince you to keep the order open?" And I said, "No, just cancel the fucking order." 48 hours go by, and then I get a message saying, "Oh, no, it's shipped." And I say, no, send me a return label. Radio silence. So that coupled with the broken product that they delivered, I've just initiated a credit card chargeback through Visa, and hopefully I'll get my money back eventually.
So you returned it ultimately?
Well, I mean, I tried. They never sent me a return label, so I had to do a credit card chargeback.
Mm.
It was just a hot fucking mess.
Literally.
Yeah, no. I ended up getting Kelly this nice ass scarf instead to cover up for that. But I think my biggest meth this year was Google Allo. It's just it was.
Don't remind me.
We use it all the time too.
Yeah, I mean we use
legit
it,
use
but
it,
like you two are the only two people that I know besides Lindsay's brother that use it, and it's nuts.
Same.
Because it's full featured for what it does. I think it could compete comfortably with WhatsApp, but the thing is, it doesn't have cross-platform integration. You can't integrate your SMS with it.
Oh my
It doesn't have a desktop app. It doesn't have any kind of multi-platform support, and so it's just a piece of garbage because no one will pick it up.
I haven't understood from the moment we first talked about it why there's no desktop support.
Yeah, I know. And
they don't want to step on Hangouts' toes, I guess. But nobody likes Hangouts.
No.
Yeah, because
Nobody likes
Hangouts is a lumbering dinosaur of code. Like it's slow.
It's the
not
iTunes of messaging.
Dan,
Yeah,
you
it
sent
is.
us a message on Hangouts before, like those messages on Hangouts. Burke and I have gotten visibly angry at it because we don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, because like
Our phones.
also partly because Dan is a whore for multiple messaging platforms, and so we'll get messages from him on Facebook, Hangouts, and Allo. And
well, you know what? He's an optimist in a way because he just wants to use every platform out there, much to our chagrin.
You know, I'm a platform messaging platform whore right now. I'm just like, what does this feel like? How's that? Anyway, point being,
no one's paying you.
You're sexually adventurous with messaging platforms. So what does this feel like? I like that.
I'm totally with you. Allo, very mad.
It was
I'm
just
enjoying it. Between the three of us, I'm enjoying it.
I love it, but it's a huge mess. Like, I love it, but why?
Yeah,
like, I get why it's phone only because they're trying to like baby step their way into something bigger. But
well, I mean, that's the fundamental flaw in everything Google does is baby steps don't work. Like,
no, you're right. You're right.
Google Plus was the exact same issue. Nobody picked it up because it was a half-assed attempt at first that developed into something full-featured. But by then, nobody had really people had tried it at the beginning, said it was shit, and then they'd never try it again.
And then they left. They ditched it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Matt, Dan, remember the 2 Google Duo video calls we've done with each other?
Yeah, I mean, I do
a couple months ago.
I like Duo a lot, but apparently
Duo has worked well for me and Dan.
You know what? Yeah, we do it a lot.
Once again, just between.
So, do you know what the kids use nowadays?
What do the kids use?
My sister just showed me this shit for like multi-video chat. It's called what is it called? Like Party Cup or some shit like that. Party. Let me see. Red Cup.
What do the youths do?
Video. It's called. I'm looking it up. Nope, that's a video. That's a music video.
Guys, this is good podcast material right here.
Video app.
Dan,
I don't remember
Google
what the
searching.
Fuck, it's called. Something party video app.
Okay, Party Cup.
It's like house party app video chat.
It is
House Party. It's called House Party.
Okay.
And the fucking logo is just a red Solo cup. And apparently that's what the youths are using to like multi-video chat nowadays.
All right,
over Wi-Fi.
I mean, sure.
FaceTime doesn't offer multiple people and it doesn't include Android, and then Duo doesn't have that feature yet. So
okay.
Duo, if
mean,
you
we
want to
could
take
check it
over, you should fucking offer multi-video.
Google, if you want to take over shit, you should start offering all the features that other people do when you launch the app.
Yeah, yep, agree. Fully.
I mean, they really don't capitalize on the fact that they're fucking Google and people will. Oh no.
And shot time. Okay, I will count down. Are you ready?
Debatable. No, I'm not. Okay, now I am.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, shot. Okay, so my meh. Aloe was a good one. I should have thought of that.
Aloe.
As much as I love it, that's a good one.
Shout out to Cody Collins for putting that one on there, because I was like racking my brain while I was at Lindsay's house and I was talking to him about it. He's a huge techie, and he was the one who suggested putting Aloe on there.
Said is faster, but who cares?
What?
From a design standpoint, I would agree it's a meh.
From the design
They kind of
standpoint,
give it a punt.
Oh no, the podcast. It has, how do you say, frozen. Oh, penises. I'm back. I don't know what happened, but the stream froze again for me.
yeah, it just goes in and out. You're fine though.
Alright.
But yeah, my meh was iPhone 7, just because like design was the same as I'm not saying it's a failure because it's still going to sell, but the design was the same as the iPhone 6 without a headphone jack, more or less. The only difference is really like the chipset and the camera.
Yeah, which, I mean, nobody cares about that, honestly.
No one gives a fuck. Maybe like
except for the camera. I take that back.
People care about the camera, but like also like developers, because they like developing in Swift versus Java, like game developers might like that chip more. There's something about the chip that is preferable to gaming, but otherwise, like overall, just meh. And because we've talked about this before, while you guys were talking, I came up with another meh, and I'm gonna make a lot of enemies with this meh. But here goes.
Good. We're trying to do that.
We're trying to make enemies on this podcast. My meh for Tequila Cast 2016. Get ready. Rogue One.
Whoa!
Rogue One.
Whoa!
I haven't
was
seen it
just-
yet. Can't
It was
comment.
just meh. Like it was
Okay.
It was
I like you didn't share this with me, just dropping this bomb
Yeah,
on me.
I mean, I just thought of it right now.
because I enjoyed it.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but I'm saying like the hype. Again, we're talking about hype. We're
talking about hype.
talking about hype. The trailers, like a lot of we're talking about the content.
Yeah.
A lot of the content in the early trailers wasn't even in the fucking movie.
You right though. You right.
Wasn't even in the fucking movie.
Well, it has a very do we want to talk about Rogue One? Right? Like, what do we?
Yeah, I feel
don't
like
wanna
this
talk-
is so near and dear to Dan that we're going to end up on a horrific rant.
Here's
Bert,
a few.
when
quick
do you
points.
think you're going to see it? Is the question.
I mean, probably the next week.
Okay.
I've been meaning to.
Let me give like a couple non-plot spoilers or vaguely plot spoilers. Forrest Whitaker's character doesn't have enough screen time. 1, 2, it's there's just pacing issues, and 3, despite what the trailers led on, it wasn't like a reconnaissance movie like you thought it might have been.
Okay.
So those are my three qualms.
Okay. I mean, expectations were high, certainly, and it had a troubled.
Expectations.
Is that what I just said? Oh,
yeah,
no.
you could have slurred that a bit. You can tell we're getting into this.
It happens.
Oh dear. Well, expectations were high.
That happens to me when I'm sober.
Hey, my roommate's home. Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Doing a podcast.
Burke says hi.
Right, I'm in your headphones, so I just screamed in your ear.
Yeah,
instead of
you're
saying
in
hi.
yours. Yeah, I mean that's my meh.
It had a troubled production. Like they did reshoots, they did a lot of revisions. So I'm sure it does feel like sometimes like two different movies.
I didn't want to drop a bomb on you.
Oh, if you want to get all weeaboo with me, I think something that was really good this season or this year was Gundam, Iron Blooded Orphans. For those,
Oh.
Okay. Brief aside, go.
all right, yeah, this will be quick, but so
This is a new Gundam anime series?
Yeah, and
Yeah, he's trying to get.
so a lot of
get me
people
into
are
it.
afraid of anime, because Gundam in particular, because it's this huge franchise that goes back to the 70s when it started. But this
Right.
is a new standalone series that's way darker than any of the other ones that have come before it. And personally, I think it's really well developed, and it touches on some stuff that I personally love, like brain-machine interfaces. And so it's definitely,
Down?
if you're not averse to anime on the grounds of, oh, that's some gay shit, or oh, weebs, then it's worth checking out, in my opinion. It's pretty complex, layered, and the characters don't fit into those age-old anime tropes that a lot of different shows fall prey to. And the second season
We should
started.
talk about anime some other time, because I'm way into anime. I feel like we should have like an anime.
Oh, I didn't know you were,
recommended-
man. I didn't know you were a fellow weeb. Have you watched any of Iron Blood Orphans?
No, this is actually the first I'm hearing of it, but Dan and I always make fun of, like lovingly make fun of Gundam. In a way. Like,
It's a Gundam.
It's a Gundam.
a Gundam!
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so we also
Specifically
grew up
Gundam
hearing,
Wing.
like, huh? Gundam Wing was not that good. Like
I liked it, but it's nostalgic, but it's not good.
You know what I
Yeah,
have good memories
exactly.
of? Oh boy, we're going deep in the weeds right now.
Okay. Keep it short.
I was just gonna say I have good memories of Gundam. What's it called? Seed.
Seed. I
Yeah,
never
Gundam Seed was actually pretty good. That was one I really enjoyed, and like going back, it actually holds up a decent amount.
That one was really popular. I never watched it, but
Yeah, no,
I heard-
and I'd say Iron Blood
Tsunami.
Orphans is better than Gundam Seed. So if you liked Seed, it's in the same vein but darker.
Okay, maybe I will, and I hope we should do like an anime recommended watch list.
Yeah, like a Sober Thoughts anime episode.
for
and
sure.
We'll have like 2 viewers because we don't have many weebs in the woods.
Okay, so
All right.
let's end
Now-
with the 2017 thoughts or predictions.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Let me do this first. So I had a couple things, but I'm just going to keep it short and try to stick to one, maybe 2 things. I wanted to sort of predict that this upcoming year is going to be a big year for Internet of Things, specifically the Google Home and devices that will connect with the Google Home or Amazon Echo. I think both those devices are going to be really big this year. Probably the Google Home, but I'll throw the Amazon Echo in there just because it's super similar.
We're about to have CES, so we're going to see a lot of Internet of Things probably just next week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big year for things because all these new devices. Burke, we talked briefly about this with you. All these new devices are going to start connecting with either an Amazon Echo or a Google Home, and to be able to, instead of like use your phone, like use your voice and be like, hey, turn on the Christmas tree lights, Echo or Google, whatever, shit like that. Turn on my lights. Turn on, cast the game to the TV. Like shit like that is going to be huge, and people are going to love that. And I think that's going to, I don't know if blow up is the right term, but I think it'll be somewhat big.
No, I mean, I was actually at Cody's house recently, and he got a Google Home, and man, it's fucking staggering how useful it can be. He has it integrated with a couple of things, and he's used If This Then That and Tasker to beef up the capabilities, but just the fluidity of it and the fact that his girlfriend, who is not like a huge techie, uses it on a regular basis is a big indicator of where it's going to go from here.
Yeah. And the fact that you can plug into like you said, Tasker or any of these apps, or even like physical things like Philips Hue lights or shit like that, like a Chromecast or a Fire Stick, whatever the fuck you have, is going to be huge. And the fact that those things are fucking cheap, like a Chromecast, $35, Philips Hue light, not that much more expensive than regular lights. But it's just a matter of having these small augmented devices in your home that connect to this hub, whether it's Amazon Echo or your phone or the fucking, I'm blanking on it, the Google Home. Sorry, I had a brain fart there.
What's the phrase for Google Home? Is it OK Google?
It's still OK Google, I think.
See, Alexa's better.
Wait, is it OK Google or is it Hey Google?
No, it's both work. Both work.
Alexa is
And,
just a better word than Google.
Alexa is, but
I think they need to give the Google Home a name.
You know
no,
what's better?
man, I'm of the opposite opinion. I don't want my tech to have a name. I don't want to pretend it's a person because then it feels like I'm talking to someone who's mentally handicapped. Like
That's neither here nor there. The Amazon Echo, what it does that the Google Home doesn't, is it allows you to rephrase the trigger phrase. You don't have to say hello, Shmulexa. You can say, I'm trying not to trigger people's shit in the off chance that they're playing it around their thing.
Oh yeah, right.
You can change it to whatever the hell you want. Whereas with Google devices, you have to use Google's key phrase no matter what. You can't customize it. I think Google needs to make that.
I mean, just when you think about the word Google, like it's like obviously part of our lexicon. It's literally part of the dictionary now.
Yes,
I believe,
it is.
As a verb. It's actually just kind of a strange word.
It is,
right?
It sounds funny as fuck.
It was
It could be
inspired by a word for a quantity that will never be involved in your daily life, which is really funny.
A Googleplex. It can just be an awkward word to say sometimes.
Oh no! Why? Why you do this to me, Daniel-san?
We them boys.
All right, we are them boys.
Okay, let's.
All three of us.
Whose turn is it to go?
Eric.
It's probably mine.
Enrique.
All right, we had 6. We had 6.
All right, Eric, ready when you are.
Yes. 3. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
3, 2, 1. Tequila.
There it is.
All right.
We're drinking. Oh, we didn't even mention what we were drinking at the beginning of the podcast. Let's just do it now, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm drinking Espolón Añejo.
Which, for those of you listening, if you're looking for a cheap tequila that is really good quality, Espolón is the shit.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
We're drinking 1800.
we're drinking 1800 because since we're together, it's actually not that expensive. It's $25 for in New York, by the way.
Yeah,
For
which is
how much
crazy.
volume on that? For a 750 ml, I believe that is. It doesn't say.
Is that bad? Is that not a deal?
$25 for 750 milliliter in Manhattan is not bad.
Yeah, I
For
mean, I
not
paid
quality?
22
Like-
for my 750 of Espolón.
Yeah,
Also,
the 1800
all right.
is really good.
Shouts to the
Moving-
liquor store on East 116th and Lexington Avenue.
Woo! So, Eric,
What am I
is
excited
your
for?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
fuck
gonna
you,
go?
Eric.
You're gonna go.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, fuck me. Go ahead, Bert.
I'm excited for 2017. The reason I didn't want to go last is because I know this won't appeal to a huge number of people. But so AMD is finally getting competitive in the CPU market, which if you're the type of person that builds their own PC or requires like actual CPU power, which is usually not the limiting factor for a lot of people, that's a huge deal because it means that you're finally getting competition in the market. AMD has announced a new Zen architecture for their CPUs, and it's recent like pre-production reports by different tech reviewing websites on samples given by AMD indicate it's actually competitive with Intel's offerings, which has not been the case for the better part of a decade.
So
Like-
basically, now we have a choice other than Intel.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
crazy.
which is great because Intel has been way dominating the market.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
There's not even a
And-
choice.
yeah, no, it's
Like-
not. Like, unless it's the question between, like, AMD has a ton of cores, but,
right.
pardon me, but they're very slow and underpowered. Intel has, like, 4 cores in most cases, but they're very fast. So because very few applications support multi-threading and multiprocessing, Intel is almost always the obvious choice. And it's nice to see that finally they're going to get some competition in their bread and butter market. Also, for graphics cards, we're having the usual cycle of new architectures come out this coming year. Or no, actually, I don't think it's this coming year. There's no new architectures. It's just CPUs. Intel is also releasing their own new architectures, Kaby Lake, this coming year, which should be exciting.
Well, at CES next week, Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, NVIDIA always has like a big presentation, I believe. So maybe we'll hear something new next week.
On the processor front.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know.
I hope we hear about new graphics cards, honestly, from NVIDIA, because, I mean, we've mentioned this in previous podcasts, but I'm interested in doing some machine learning stuff. And when you train neural networks or different machine learning algorithms, graphics cards are actually incredibly useful. They're really well optimized for the task because they can do a huge number of parallel calculations at once, which you need for matrix operations. And NVIDIA has basically dominated the market until now because
Right.
they're the ones
As opposed
that,
to AMD.
AMD has almost no adoption among the machine learning community because they didn't get on the boat early enough with releasing hardware level drivers for machine learning, and NVIDIA did. So NVIDIA is like basically the de facto standard. In fact, I'm planning on upgrading my video card for my desktop PC at home, which is mostly a gaming machine. But since I plan to do machine learning in the future, I'm going to be switching from AMD to NVIDIA because of that, because there's no support.
So what do you have right now? I mean, I built a gaming desktop 2 years ago, so I'm just curious to hear.
Oh yeah, I have a R9 290.
R9 290. Okay, so I have R9 280X.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, they're more or less the same, except for yours is one step lower chipset, but overclocked.
Yeah.
Damn, you really know those fucking numbers.
Yeah,
and you know, it's interesting the point you make too. Like when I was building 2 years ago, I legitimately couldn't even find an alternative to Intel CPUs.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's not feasible, you know? No.
Not feasible, no. I couldn't even find anything.
Definitely not a good one. I doing Hackintosh won't be able to take advantage of that, but that's still good for the gaming market.
I mean, OS X just doesn't support AMD, flat out.
Right. I mean, well, they have AMD graphics cards.
So your prediction is, I mean, we've talked about, well, your prediction is what exactly? I forget.
I think... I think the CPU market is finally going to get competitive again after like a decade of stagnation.
Right. Like
I like it.
All this like stagnation of Intel, like Intel will finally have pressure on them. I also feel like
they need it.
Apple might start making their own processors for the MacBook line because of Intel's bullshit, but we'll see.
That should be interesting, yeah, because one of the big complaints with the base tier MacBook Pro was that using
before Kaby Lake, whatever was before Kaby Lake, that's in them now. Skylake?
Skylake, yeah, that's the one. I mean, there was some issue with where if you use an adapter with your USB-C ports, your Wi-Fi would crap out, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like it would just some extremely stupid issue that could basically cripple your desktop.
And I haven't seen that. Be a complaint on most devices. That might have been just that guy's.
Could be, yeah. We're referring to a Louis Rossmann review of the MacBook Pro, and he's like very technical about how he looks at things.
Okay, so let's get to Eric's predictions here.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a few, nothing like huge, but the first one that came into my mind was just that like. So like this time last year, Microsoft was really making a strong push into the health wearable market with they were called Microsoft Band. And they did Microsoft Band and then Microsoft Band 2.
I don't remember.
I would call them
an indication of how much it
this tells you the success that they had. Yeah. So they were trying to compete with Fitbit and it didn't work. But my prediction is that they try again. That my prediction for 2017 is that we're going to see a Microsoft Band 3 because I just find it very hard to believe that Microsoft is just willing to totally cede this field
to like Fitbit and smartwatches.
Of health wearables. To a lesser extent, Apple is doing this.
Yeah, but I think honestly, the companies that are focused on that are the ones that are really doing it to the point where people are actually using it. Like even the Apple Watch, I don't know anybody who uses that as a health fitness tracker. Well, it's really just Fitbit and like Garmin.
Caveat to that, I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about the failure of smartwatches that the failure of smartwatches was kind of the success of Fitbit. And I'm willing to say that Apple pivoting to branding the Apple Watch not as a luxury item like they did the first gen, where they had the like gold option and
for China
gold and all that. they nixed that, and now instead of offering the really fancy shit, what they're gearing towards sport now. I mean, one of the watches in the new lineup is a fucking Nike watch. Like,
right.
So I mean, at least they're pushing that, and I think they also dropped the price on even the new watch. So I think Apple's starting to go in the right direction there, and Android Wear has to kind of catch up a little. But yeah, if Microsoft does that, I feel like that would be an interesting play.
I just I just don't think they're done yet with it. I feel like they gave up too soon.
Oh God!
Yeah. Wait for more
Prediction
predictions.
for after the shot. Also, I'm going to use the restroom. We've had some complaints about my crass behavior in the podcast.
Yeah, from us, from your co-host.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't care about you, but if we're losing viewers because I'm burping, pissing, and shitting while we're doing this, then maybe I should tone it down.
I mean, I
Yes.
feel like that's generally frowned upon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that part in Bad Boys 2, the shit just got real.
Look, Eric, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's just you.
I don't either.
No one's seen Bad Boys 2 here?
I have, but not since I was like 12.
Bad boys. What you gonna do?
Burke, you got to count.
Ah, right. Bir, iki, üç, shot.
Was that Turkish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On that note, we out.
Oh yeah. Before that, I have
we're
one
done?
prediction. VR continues its uptick. More consumer affordable options for VR.
Yeah, I actually had
I like
that.
it.
I had that on like the honorable mention of
Yeah.
prediction for sure. I don't know if it's going to be like a massive mainstream success, but
I
it will
doubt
be.
But I
It'll
think
be a bigger market.
yeah, it'll just be a continuation of the already present trend of like VR getting cheaper, better, and more realistic, and I'm always excited for that.
It'll be interesting. It'll by no means be like a mass market
No.
thing, but there will definitely be interesting developments for sure.
Can I do two quick ones?
For sure.
Okay. One, the Nintendo Switch will break the Wii's sales records.
Ooh,
That's what I think.
that's a good one. I like that one.
I don't know
Okay,
about that.
That's what I think. Because people just want this type of console.
Hell yeah! I mean, like,
And you're getting
there's so much hype around it. There's so much,
and
hype
you
around
cannot understate the we'll talk about this more in the
And
coming.
here we see
Of
the
course.
Nintendo fanboys in their natural habitat.
Yeah. You just cannot understate
Circle.
you can't understate the importance of merging the mobile and console teams at
Absolutely.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's huge. So I think it'll break Wii records. Not Wii U. Not Wii U.
Wii, which is a higher bar to set. than Wii.
And
I got that reference. I got that.
I got you. Okay.
I am Ling's father. Wii.
We have trained you
And-
wrong as a joke.
And I got one more prediction. I think Twitter has to do something.
Yes.
Twitter has to change their guidelines in some way.
Which is, it's as simple as, we've talked about this in the past, it's as simple as an idea that was floated, I don't know if it was floated by someone within Twitter like Jack Dorsey, but I heard it floated in the tech community. It's as simple as, much like on Facebook, you have to provide like a real name for your profile. It's like, you allow there to still be the anonymous Twitter, but you allow the masses to verify themselves, much like celebrities are verified on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then what happens is if you're looking at any stream, whether it's your home stream or a hashtag stream, there's a verified section, and then there's a general shitstorm of Twitter section. And that's just one of the things that's super easy to implement that would fix a lot.
Yeah.
And they have to do something like that ASAP.
Yes, because they're losing money.
Yes.
They got to do something.
Yeah. And I mean, like Disney and Google and all these other people passed, like Salesforce passed up on buying them just because of like the shit name that they've cultivated for themselves this year with all the trolls and the problems that they've had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good predictions. I really like
Thank
your Switch prediction, actually. That's a good
Me
one.
too. I'm going to contribute to it. So, you know, that's why
I think there's so much hype around it. I really think it'll get near Wii numbers. It'll destroy Wii U numbers, but
not even
People
worth
didn't
it.
even know the Wii U was a separate console. That's a
no,
pretty
because of their
Exactly.
awful naming convention.
Exactly.
We can get into that later. Should we call it here, gents?
Yeah. So just for those who are listening, like us on Facebook, like us on like this video on YouTube, subscribe. We have a Patreon now where.
Wait, let me do it. I have the official outro listed. I'll just read it off.
All right, Jesus.
I'll do it. I got you, dog. I got you, Burke. I got your back, son. Yeah. So thanks to everyone for listening. Yeah, for more, like Burke said, you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app. You should be using Pocket Casts, by the way. But if you don't use Pocket Casts, use whatever you want. Follow us on Twitter. We're at TequilaCast. Like us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/TequilaCast. We take no advertising, obviously. We're supported by you guys, the listener. So thanks for everyone who supports the show at patreon.com/TechquilaCast. Shout out to our first patron, Sadie Wachowski.
Sadie!
I promised I would name you. I'm naming you here. She may or may not be my girlfriend.
She is.
Yeah, so thanks for that. And peace, y'all. Thanks for listening to this episode.
Peace. Thank you.